Armchair commanders, we call the shots. From our living room thrones where the action's hot. We're the generals of fiction, the masters of war. In silver screen battles with buttered popcorn. Armchair commanders, armchair commanders.
Alrighty, welcome to the Armchair Commanders podcast. My name is John.
And I'm Jack.
And this week we are reviewing our first ever Bollywood film of the podcast. And you know what? I think, what is this, episode 84, 85 or something like that? I think it's too damn long.
Who's counting? Yeah, it took us too long to get to Bollywood, but I think we started strong.
This is an amazing film.
This kicked ass. Can I get a hex? Yeah.
Hex, yeah. No, wait. Sing, yeah.
Sing, yeah.
I have no idea if that's appropriate or offensive or not, so I'm not going to redo it.
I don't care. Honestly, I don't see it as being offensive, but to all three of our Indian listeners, maybe they'll let us know.
Believe it or not, our listening map does show we have Indian listeners.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Holy fuck. I hope we're going to get new ones with this. Just really branch out. Have you ever heard of
Eastern European metrics went up after our Blizzard of Souls episode?
Huh. I thought it, one of our first movies for this podcast was Come and See. But...
yeah, but, we were just starting then, so...
You ever heard of the phenomenon called Big in Japan?
Yes, but elaborate our listeners.
When, let's just say an American media form, for example, and then it becomes popular in some random ass country. Say an American TV show that for one reason or another or none at all, it just becomes really popular in, say, Kenya or, Japan. A good example of this is, weirdly enough, The Phantom Menace. Everyone dunks on it, but apparently that movie's widely beloved in Japan. Huh. Yes, even Jar Jar.
That doesn't surprise me for some reason. Also, let's not... do you remember the amount of fucking merchandise that came out around that?
Oh, yes.
Fucking Pepsi machines had their own Phantom Menace covers. I don't want to hear this bullshit oh, it's a terrible film. Everybody was fucking stoked on it.
Yeah, but you could argue that was the hype for getting a Star Wars movie in, I think it was 15 years they had to wait.
You're going to tell me that the droids weren't cool as shit?
Oh, no, I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I fucking love that movie.
I'm only mad that we didn't get more Liam Neeson as a Jedi.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But god damn it. Yeah, what I was getting at originally is, what if this movie starts a chain reaction of us becoming popular in India just because we reviewed one Bollywood movie?
I really hope so.
Me too.
Use the sponsorships.
Yeah, maybe we should have this running thing where we just stop the review at a certain point and start singing and dancing and then come back to the review like nothing happened.
So here's the thing. As a Bollywood film, I was 100% expecting a singing, dancing scene.
Same.
But I was thrown off a little bit because the first big musical number we have, it's just a voiceover. It's just background music to showing Havaldar's, I hope I'm saying that right.
H-Man.
Yeah, H-Man. His according to Wikipedia, his actual name is Ishar. So I think Havaldar is a title or something.
Well, maybe it was a Creative Liberties thing.
I don't know. We'll just call him H-Man.
Okay.
Because I don't want to disrespect him by mispronouncing his name and or title. Because this dude's a fucking badass.
Oh, yeah.
But H-Man's love story, but it, I I was expecting it to be like this big dancing thing because I've seen only one other Bollywood film, and that was Slumdog Millionaire.
I
And I
don't even
don't
know if
know.
that was Bollywood.
It's supposed to be Bollywood inspired.
Yeah, but it was made by an Englishman.
Okay, but you get the point that that is supposed to have Bollywood vibes to it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, even if it isn't. So let's say this is my first ever true 100% and without a doubt Bollywood film. Um so the first like music number where it's just showing basically a flashback of him falling in love with his wife with like a song over it, I was like, huh, this isn't nearly as like flashy and over the top as I was expecting it to be. And then maybe like 20 minutes later we get the actual like dance number with all of them in the fort, and I'm like, all right, here it is. This is what I was expecting.
So it was a flashback.
At least
So
that's how I took it.
I was curious about that because the way it was edited, it seemed to imply he walked all the way back from Afghanistan to India, met and married this girl, then walked his ass all the way back.
I could see where that confusion comes from. I think the thing that helped me was before that scene, there's a moment where like she just randomly appears in Afghanistan as kind of like a phantom type deal, and she does it
Yeah.
periodically throughout the film. So because they prefaced with her doing that, I was able to make the connection of, okay, this is a flashback. But I can totally see how like, you look down at your phone for like a moment, or, shoving your face full of popcorn or whatever, you could miss that. So
And yeah, he does hallucinate his wife getting after him for saving that Afghan girl. How dare you save her? Is she prettier than me? I didn't want to see her get her head chopped off, man.
it's none of your business. It reminds me of I took a criminal law class once, and that was like one of the first like philosophical questions, which was like, let's say you live in a village on one side of a river, and there's a village on the opposite side of the river, and in your village, like bodies are sacred, but in the other village, they like the fuck. Okay, I need to change my sleep settings on my fucking computer. Um. Anyways, did any of that cut out?
No, you were just talking, and all of a sudden you said, "What the fuck?"
Okay. So, but in this other village, they like feed babies to wood chippers. Just something super over the fucking top. And it's like, do you have the right or the obligation to go across the river to this other village and stop it?
Yeah, and there's certainly a question of interventionism.
I
And
found it. I just thought of that example because, like, obviously we get our dickhead British guy who's like, it is none of our concern. It's like, dude, this is your colony. Aren't you supposed to be making the rules?
yeah, but it's hey, if they want to behead women, go ahead. I guess not his problem.
That's
But
funny.
as long as they pay their taxes. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah.
Right.
So this reminds me of a thought experiment because I just love whipping those out. It makes me feel smarter than I actually am. Um, have you heard about the spider in the urinal thought experiment?
No.
So let's just say at work you go to piss. So you get to the urinal, you whip it out, and then you see a spider in the urinal. It looks like a very sad spider. And so, you feel bad for it. So you scoop him out of the urinal and put him on the floor. Hey, what did you put under my name, you fucker?
I
Asshole.
only just learned I can change the titles on people.
Well, anyway, you're not wrong. I am a fucker.
No, it's
But
Fukar.
Fukar. So anyway, you scoop the little bastard out and you put him on the floor and you're like, go do spider shit. And you come back later to take another piss a couple hours later. He's still there. He's still alive, mind you, but he hasn't moved any at all that you can tell. And then when you come in the next morning, he's on the floor dead. In the same exact spot. He didn't move at all. So, objectively speaking, did you do a good deed?
I don't know. Did it make you feel warm on the inside?
You don't know. Like, would that make you feel warm on the inside?
You can save something or someone, but you can't give it the will to live.
And who's to say you didn't directly cause this poor spider's death? Maybe he was happy and thriving in that urinal, just living off of people's piss. His ecosystem
was the fucking urinal.
Yeah, he just loved getting pissed on, and that's how he survived. And then you ruined it by putting him on the floor.
What is it, R. Kelly's bathroom?
Hell, I don't know, probably. It wasn't a girl spider, so maybe not. Yeah, it was a legal-aged male spider, so it wasn't R. Kelly's. But, so, this thought experiment is from the 80s, and it was made by a college professor. I forget which college, but he saw a spider in the urinal, and he thought of this, and he made an entire lesson to his students in his philosophy class for this. And ever since, it's been used about foreign policy and interventionism. So, who's to say I'm doing a good deed here? Not to say letting a woman get beheaded is objectively the right thing to do. No, that ain't at all what I'm saying.
H-Man handled that the way I wanted him to handle that.
And then...
fucking jumping off a rock, firing a rifle mid-jump, just doming a dude.
Yep. That was my hex yeah moment of this movie.
And then he fucking Spartan kicked a dude off the side of a cliff. What I imagine is that in Bollywood they're like, what if we made an Indian 300?
Yeah.
And this is what they got.
And we can make it better. We can make it about us, and it'll also be about Persians.
Just by a different name.
And wouldn't you know it, we have a historical battle that we're proud of that involves Persians in a last stand.
Man, they really played it even though this is depicting the 1800s, this is some shit I would expect from in early 2000s American
I was going to mention
depicting an Afghani war. Just old West evil villain twisting his mustache kind of evil.
The stereotypical man in the traditional Afghan garb mean mugging the camera with his beard while that plays in the background.
Hot Dirk.
And I was really just waiting for one of them to start saying Durka 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 Muhammad Jihad.
A Sherpa a Bacala.
And the portrayal of Afghans in this movie certainly raises an eyebrow.
Well, to be fair, India doesn't really get along with Afghanistan or Pakistan for that matter.
Or English people.
Yeah. Well,
or themselves if they're a different caste.
Yeah, there's a lot of struggles there.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the funniest jokes I've ever seen on Family Guy. Generally speaking, I hate Family Guy. I just think the writing is very lazy. I don't like Seth MacFarlane. He thinks he's smarter than he actually is. Very pretentious douchebag. But there's an episode where Stewie has this girlfriend who's also this evil mastermind type person.
Oh yeah, her.
And they're having this competition between each other to see who can do the most fucked up shit. And Stewie sent a letter. He's like, look what I sent to Pakistan from India, up yours. And then it just like turns over to a news station and sees them like nuking each other. I was like, all right, that's pretty funny because like I was like, that's about as succinct and accurate as explaining the hatred between those two countries can get.
And today, actually, I saw a clip also from Family Guy, and Brian and Stewie are in India. And Brian says something along the lines of, "Oh man, I'm really hungry. I could go for a burger right now." And immediately they're swarmed by Indian men. Do you know how offensive that is to our culture? And then just out of nowhere, one says, "Yeah, and why did Wes Anderson choose our country to set his worst movie?" But yeah, I was gonna mention that this movie seems like the director watched 300 years ago, and then he knew his mission.
You know what I'm curious about? Is like
What?
I'm not opposed to so like in this movie there's a sniper character that like is kind
Yeah,
of like an antagonist to H-Man.
a very flamboyant Persian marksman.
But he's
Does
white.
he look Persian to me?
Google it. Google it right fucking now and tell me that isn't some white pasty ass dude that they just didn't slab a bunch of paint on.
Oh, I need to fucking pull up the cast for this movie. Sorry, cast. I don't even. What, did he even get a name?
Maybe it's just sniper. I don't know.
I don't know. I thought he looked Arab. Maybe it was just the makeup and the jewelry that was doing all the heavy
Kesari
lifting.
sniper.
Kesari marksman. I'm going to be historically accurate, John. Okay, that didn't work. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is sniper. God damn it.
I don't know. I actually might be wrong on this. I'm just saying that when I watched this movie, it looked like some English dude that they picked up and like flamboyantly painted on his face.
All right. God damn it. God. Seriously, who the fuck is this guy?
It's really not that hard, Jack. Just Kesari
Bo-
sniper. Google images.
I'm god damn it. Bawani Muzamil as sniper.
Okay, so
Wow. Okay.
he's not a white dude. But come on, you cannot tell me looking at these photos he doesn't look like a white dude from England.
Kinda.
Okay,
I certainly see the kind of see the Afghan features. I mean, doesn't got a beard, but also, I don't think the word sniper was coined yet, was it?
It doesn't matter.
It matters to me. Ology. Oh, I guess it did. Originated in the 1770s among British soldiers in India. Okay, so that was 100 years before this movie takes place. See, I thought they were just called marksmen.
So at the point that this movie is
Until a
supposed to be
certain
taking
point.
place 1897, the English have colonized this area for well over 100 years.
Yeah. Or at least India. And they were reaching out into Afghanistan to snatch it from the Russians. This entire chapter of history is called, I think, The Great Game.
Tales all this time.
And guess who was in the middle? The Afghans.
Speaking of which, when they're trying to do the like explaining the conflict. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say on a completely unrelated note, when are we reviewing Dune?
We aren't.
Fuck you, we aren't. It's a war movie.
We'll discuss it.
But anyway, as you were saying when they were talking about the conflict,
At the very, very beginning of this movie, and they're like explaining like this is where we are in the role of like a divorced mom, da 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 da, da, and I just felt more confused afterwards.
me too, but I think that was the
If the
point.
beginning of this film was just this has been a colony for 100 plus years, and this is just the continued struggle of the fucky wuckiness of colonialism, I would have been fine with that as an explanation.
if if England is the husband and Russia is the suitor and Afghanistan is the bride and this land is the wedding cake, then who are we? The wedding guests.
Yeah,
Like
terrible analogy, really.
just imagine Britain and England going to war, and then the next thing you know, you're an Indian soldier in Afghanistan. You're like, wait a minute, how the fuck did I end up here? It's sort of like how that Serbian guy shot that Austrian guy, and now you're an Australian guy fighting Ottomans.
Well, that makes perfect sense.
No, it doesn't.
Anyways, this was a film that I've wanted to watch it for a very long time, because I saw a like an animated history thing on YouTube about this particular battle, and I always thought it was dope as hell. And then I found out there was like an actual movie about it, and I know I've like wanted to do it. Like I've brought it up multiple times, but it just hasn't like panned out. So I'm super stoked that we did finally get to do it.
And not only does it have a movie, it has a kick-ass movie.
I love the fact that I texted you 3 minutes into this film being
Sorry,
like, this is the greatest movie ever. I said, I love
and
the
I
fact.
believed you and didn't doubt you for a second.
And then you watched it a few days later, and you made it as far as I did before you texted me.
And I didn't even have to say the scene I was on. You just knew. Here, let me try to go back to our texts. All right. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Bro, I'm 3 minutes into this film and it's fucking amazing. You sent that Wednesday 2:44, and then I responded Sunday at 5:13. You were right. This movie kicks ass.
And it only got better.
And,
continue.
Oh, sorry. I think I should, now that I unearthed that text, I should mention my absolute favorite part of this movie. And it was that point when he's talking with his now professional soldiers, and one of them's like freaking out, like, oh, they're gonna kill us, they're gonna kick our asses, like, what are we doing here, blah blah blah, I'm scared. And without even saying anything, Havildar just like turns on his heel and walks back into his office room, whatever, quarters, there we go. And he's like, oh, now what do we do, our commanders abandon us. And then he slowly steps out wearing a saffron turban, and I was like, oh fuck, dude. the saffron turban is on. He is no longer fucking around.
I had to look it up. So like, I'll be honest, I don't know hardly anything about Indian culture, as well as I don't know anything about like Sikhs. So I had to look it up. So like when he did that, I understood it was supposed to be like this big, like serious moment, but it was lost on me because it's not a cultural thing I'm aware of. So I think that's something that like our listeners who aren't into Bollywood films should be aware of, or maybe should do like, I don't know, go onto YouTube and do like a crash course video on seeks before watching this. But essentially, saffron, the color, is associated with like one of their early martyrs of their religion. So
Yeah, and those are some magnificent turbans too.
there's got to be so much effort doing those turbans up.
I'm sure you like get into a groove of it, you know, like it becomes routine, like putting on your shoes or masturbating.
Okay.
Moving right along.
But yeah, that's going to be an interesting. It's going to be interesting opening up my email in the next few days.
All the reports people are going to put into the FCC on us.
You mentioned it where it's like now professional. I find it interesting that this movie attacked or took on a lot of traditional military or war movie tropes. Like our main character fits that like maverick kind of trope. He gets disciplined and sent to a fort that's supposed to be, a punishment, and like he gets there and all the people are fucking idiots or jackasses.
Yeah.
But it's not like a traditional training montage. It's I'm going to starve you to death and watch you, and then we're going to have a Bollywood singing thing together, and then we're all super professional, awesome, like mega warriors.
Yeah, it was very much like Mulan, where fuck, I can't even remember his name. Where he walks out, all of his men are dicking around and fighting. He's like, "Oh shit, I got to whip these guys into shape."
I did appreciate, like, there's a shitty joke in it where I don't know if you noticed this, but at the beginning of this movie, before the movie actually started, there's like a cue card that's like the chickens in this film were animated and no real chickens were
Yeah.
injured. And I saw that cue card and I'm like, why the fuck is that something I have to be worried about? And then like midway through the film, we see a cockfighting ring. I'm like, oh, okay. But that leads to like one of the funniest jokes where they're like, you all will fight each other until the roosters tell you to stop. And they're like, but the roosters don't know how to talk. And he just like walks away. And then maybe like 20 minutes later, they stop fighting and he's like, where the fuck are the chickens? And they're like, well, they said cook us, so.
Yeah, I didn't know Pokemon was invented by Indians. Sorry, I thought that was quite. Thank you, Christ. Tough crowd this evening.
Nah.
I see.
3 out of 10.
And then they cooked the chickens. Or did wait? No, they didn't, because that one shows up at the battle.
I love the chicken showing up, like the gate. Okay, fast forwarding to, oh my god, there's 10,000 Afghanis outside of our shitty little fort. And like mid battle, they're like, we need to protect the gate. How do we do that? Open the fucking gate. But it makes for a great cinematic moment because it opens up and the Afghanis just see like a chicken walking out. And they're so confused.
They're fucking with us, right?
What? What? Battle chickens?
And then they just fucking duke it out with the Afghans, who, thank Christ, only attack 20 people at a time. They beat their ass, and they retreat back in, and then that one dies. Actually, that one gets shot to shit.
Yeah. Did you think it was a little odd when they did the like suicide bomber scene in this movie?
Like the sappers?
So,
Oh no, the prisoners. Yeah, that was Yay, war crimes.
I was like, that's a bit on the nose, guys.
That's actually a war crime, but I guess if the good guys are doing it, it's fine.
Again, it's the same thing as like 300, where like you see the guys in the fort looking out at the giant crowd, then you see the fucking mushroom cloud, and like, ha ha!
Oh, you rascally Indians! just, just strumming their little villain mustaches. We're gonna get you, Halvadar! Also, how many times do turbans take a bullet in this film to show you, like, wow, that was a close call?
At least 3 times.
Yeah. One of them's fatal, I know that.
I think one of the like most powerful moments in this film for me is the excuse me, the one soldier who he gets shot like multiple times, but he stays at his post and he keeps firing his rifle. And there's a moment where like an Afghan guy is tossed like a grappling hook up the side of this fucking fort, and he's climbing up this rope. Like you see him crest the fort wall.
Yeah.
And he's staring down the barrel of the gun of this one Sikh warrior. But the dude is so like so out of it, so done because he's been shot so many times. But he's like, you see him, he's still like pulling the trigger on the rifle, even though like there's no bullets in it. And like you see the Afghan guy like reach up trying to. I think he actually, because I watched this like a week ago. If I'm not mistaken, he stabs the guy and ends his life. But then he immediately gets fucking like booted off the fucking wall.
Yeah, and the grappling hooks they throw up are like wooden. Not even they didn't even spring for metal. They just had like those wooden boards that you toss up there and hope it catches.
I gotta say, this film did have some beautiful scenic shots though.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful. Like when he's walking, I really liked the part where he's walking amidst the ruins of that old fort that's presumably been there centuries, and it really gives you a feeling, just like how many times has this happened throughout history. Like we are very much strangers in a strange land. But also, fun fact:
Yeah.
Afghanistan's nickname, the Graveyard of Empires, didn't come into being until like 2000, and even then, it's iffy because they were conquered by the Romans and the almost said Germans, Greeks for a considerable amount of time.
Were they?
Oh yeah, they're very bloody.
Huh. You know what I found
history
disappointing? Or continue.
Would you? What? No. What'd you find disappointing?
What I found disappointing was so they make a big point of showing this device, and for our listeners at home, you can Google. It's called a heliograph, but essentially, it's like the like flashing light, like semaphore type system they have on ships.
Yeah.
Same thing, but 1800s, and it's mirrors in the sun. So the reason, believe it or not, like a lot of events in this film aren't actually just Hollywood liberties. The character that we have at the top of the tower of the fort in real life actively updated the other main fort of what was going on as the battle was happening. So there's actually like a pretty accurate record of how the battle went. I was disappointed, and granted, I thought it was funny and I thought it was great for the character interaction that they had made because, going back to the beginning of the film is why I changed your title on our recording app. Um, an English guy calls H-Man a fucker, and he doesn't understand this English word. And so for half this film, they keep saying fucker, but they keep saying like fuckar, and it's spelled in the captions as Fukar. And then he finally learns what it means, and then they like bleep it out in the captions once the character actually knows what it means, which I thought was brilliant. But um, I love the scene too where he's on top of the wall just yelling into the valley. He's like, "You're a fucker. Your family's a fucker." Ah! But the last message in this movie to the other four is "So long, fucker," and it's supposed to be like a "up yours" type deal. Where in reality, the final message from the fort is from that guy, and he's like, I forget the exact wording, but essentially is I'm the only one left, permission to abandon my post to engage the enemy, and then the return message is granted. So like
Go get him, Tiger.
yeah, but it's a very like, hey, I would like my turn at killing these people now. And it's like that scene in Black Hawk Down where they're like, the two snipers that go to rescue one of the choppers. It's like, we can't guarantee when, if ever, relief will get to you. And they're like, yeah, go ahead and put us in anyways. Very, very similar vibes, very badass moment. So that was something I was disappointed in was they changed the like final heliograph message.
Yeah, but this was funny.
So long, fucker.
Yeah, peace.
What are you drinking
And
tonight?
that alcohol removed wine.
So grape juice?
I don't remember. Fuck you. I don't remember if I stole this bottle or they gave it to me at the New Year's party. But I didn't know it was alcohol free at the time. But I'm okay with that because I'm doing dry January again.
Mm.
I also got some Gatorade with me, some
Gotta
Cool Blue,
rod.
which I don't normally drink under the normal run of things because that's my designated hangover color for Gatorade.
We all
But
have to make sacrifices, Jack.
yes, and I'm taking it upon myself. I don't even know why I do dry January. I just doing it.
Hey, it's nice to give ourselves little challenges and to change up our routines.
I don't really miss alcohol so far, so I'm taking that as a good sign. Well, of course, we're only a week into the new year.
Right.
Yeah, just ask me in a week or two, and I'll be jonesing. Well, last year when I did this, I didn't have any inkling towards alcohol one way or the other, and I didn't have any withdrawals or anything, so I'm taking that as a good sign. Anyway, what are you drinking this evening?
This evening I'm drinking a typical Afghani drink, Topo Chico Tropical Mango.
You insensitive fuck. You come here with a alcohol drink when you know I'm on the wagon. You bitch.
Yes.
All right, fair enough.
You know
At
what's
least you're
not
honest.
fair? You know what's not fair is I went out to dinner for my birthday a few days ago, and I went out to a Korean barbecue place.
Love
And
Korean barbecue.
me too. It's a little spendy though. And I had 2 bottles of soju, And I think it's horseshit that I turned 30 and now like getting drunk now equals an entire day long hangover for me.
Yeah, depending on how fucked up I'd get those anyway. Man, I've had some mammer
It's not
jammers and
fair.
hangovers.
When I was in
Well,
college,
it's
I would go out and get so fucking drunk and then like the next morning wake up at 6 a.m. and go for a fucking 5 mile run like it was nothing. This is horseshit.
it's welcome to getting old. Frankly,
I
I didn't
know.
think I'd make it this far, so I'm gonna enjoy it. And I think the gnarliest hangover of my life was the morning after my 19th birthday. I got fucked up the night before, and I was hungover until like 11 p.m. that the next day. Hoofta. I had I had what I now what I soon learned was alcohol poisoning that I didn't go to the doctor for. I treated myself, and as a result, I couldn't stand alcohol for 6 months.
Hmm.
Like someone would open a beer next to me, and I'd start.
That'll
But
happen.
I also, on the topic of medical irresponsibility, I also treated a kidney infection by myself.
Yeah,
And
you're not supposed to do that.
when my doctor found out, she was fucking pissed about both of those. I'm like, well,
Yeah,
I
no
didn't die.
shit.
I just gorged myself on cranberry juice, water, and beer, and I pissed it out.
That's not how you do it.
Oh yeah, how are you supposed to do it,
You go to the
doctor?
doctor and you get fucking medicine.
The doctor,
Yeah.
the hospital where I got my toes removed.
That or go to the cook with the water bag. I don't know.
Cook with the water bag. He wasn't around. He was dead for over 120 years at this point. That was the saddest death, in my opinion, is Waterboy.
I so here's the thing: is this film? It is 100% a like an India fuck yeah film. Like this is a
Oh yeah,
propaganda film to a T. But because I'm not 100% ingratiated into the culture or like the religious aspects, like I'm very naive to a lot of things that are happening in this film. It's not as easy for me to identify it as such. So when he's like, we must be better than our enemies, so when they fall, you will give them water as we continue to shoot them.
yeah. It's like a gentlemanly thing, is how I interpreted it. Like, I'm sure giving first aid to fallen enemies in battle, like on the outside, that seems stupid, but it's like a humanitarian thing. And
Yeah,
also that one guy they were talking about that did that, I forget who he was talking about.
yeah, I don't remember the actual name, but it made me so mad when he died. It also just played even more into the like Afghan warlord guy being evil thing. It's like
Yeah.
he can't accept anything good in life.
Have you ever heard of the trope kicking the dog?
No, but it sounds pretty self-explanatory.
It really is. It's when a character, when a work of art wants to convey the fact that a character is evil, they do something nonsensical and stupid. Like, for instance,
Beheading a woman.
right, but also like walk like when you're first introduced to a character, the first thing he does is kick a dog. And like this, yes, it was towards the end, so we had already known all we had to know about the character, but it just really wanted to hammer home the fact that, oh, I killed the water boy, I'm fucking evil. So to rename that trope, I propose kill the water boy rather than kick the dog.
I like that.
And on that same note, there's another trope that I forgot to mention. Have you ever heard of jumping the shark?
No.
So the Happy Days with the Fonzie and whatnot.
Hey.
Hey! But anyway, there's an episode in the later seasons where he goes to Hollywood and he's afraid of sharks. So to cure his fear of sharks, he water skis and jumps over a shark. And to most fans, that's the point in the series where things turn to shit and turn the opposite of good. And that is the trope for when a work of art or a character becomes stupid or becomes not awesome, is jumping the shark or gets ridiculous. However, what a lot of people don't know is that there's an inverse trope to this, and it's called growing the beard. It's named after
H-Man?
Commander. What?
Is it named after H-Man? Because he has a magnificent beard in this.
No, but yes, he does have a beard. But it's named after Commander Riker from Star Trek. When he was first introduced, he didn't have a beard. He was kind of a pussy bitch. And after, I think, the second season, his character came back with a beard and he started doing awesome shit. So, hence, growing the beard is when a character becomes awesome. But I propose instead of that, it's put on the saffron turban.
I like this.
He's not done. He's done fucking around. Like, the turban is on. It's the Sikh equivalent of raising the black flag for a pirate.
I love the fact that this film answered a question, because obviously this is, India 300 basically.
Yeah.
It's not something they're proud of. But also they address wrestling with being subjects of colonialism, I think, very well in that moment, which is, I'm not doing this because I like the English or I care about them or want to fight their wars, or like I'm not their pawn. Like, I'm putting on the saffron turban and I'm going to kill every single one of these motherfuckers because I want everybody to know that our community is the best badass warriors regardless. It's a little mercenary-ish, but I think it was an excellent moment for them to do, because it is a legitimate question to be asking, because, it's like you're doing like a Last Stand fuck yeah kind of film, but they are in the British Army and you have to wonder, like, why do they care so much? And I think that moment does a very good job of extricating themselves from that colonial shadow.
And they're their own warriors, god damn it. They got shit to prove. They ain't no cowards.
We are going to take a sword that is basically on fire and shove it down the throat of our enemies.
We spent a lot of money on this special effect, so you're gonna like it, damn it.
Yeah, they did pump a lot of money into the CGI. Sometimes it worked out great, other times, but such is life.
Such is life.
But I think it's about time we rate this, unless you had anything else you wanted to cover.
I feel like I did, but I can't think of it.
I think the only other thing I wanted to cover is H-Man's Last Stand, because we get a Last Stand within the Last Stand film.
Oh man, that when he was like, the evil Arab dude was going to take off his turban, moves as fast as lightning and puts the pin in the dude's neck. Don't touch my turban.
I love the fact that
Hell
he's
yeah.
like surrounded by 100+ Afghanis and they still choose to attack him one at a time.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't be fair otherwise. We wouldn't get that scene now, would we? If only we had some device that launches a high-speed projectile into his body, incapacitating and or killing him.
No, I
Oh,
need to see him do the fucking Spartan spear throw twirly durly in the air.
also, I'm convinced that his sword got bigger and bigger the more the battle went on.
I'm going to have to look
Like,
at that because that'd be hilarious if that was the case.
like
Like like
if
a
the air,
Pinocchio
if the
sword. Every time you kill somebody, it gets bigger.
like if the Afghans didn't kill him then and there, imagine how fucking huge his sword would have gotten. Truly astronomical. And then there's that one poor bastard who they like surrounded and just took turns stabbing. And when you see him, he's just fucking filled with swords. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, this guy mildly
Right.
inconvenienced us on the
It was a
stairs, so let's
very
give him the bloodiest, most painful death.
this was a very over
Yeah.
the top violent film. But
Yes.
I think with that, now I'm prepared to rate it.
Hmm.
I want to do 1 to 5 heliographs.
All right.
Actually, no, 1 to 5 gate chickens.
Well, gate chickens. Hmm. I give I give this film 5 out of 5 perfectly cooked gate chickens. So functionally a 10 out of 5.
So what's your
Fine,
what's
a
your
5 out
your
of 5.
reasoning for the perfect score on this film?
This movie kicks ass. But it's a propaganda film. Shut up, nerd. Dual wielding bolt action rifles. But
Fucking stabs to the neck,
and that
war crimes.
yeah, 5 out of 5 war crimes, 5 out of 5 dancing numbers. Also, I like to imagine that when they were doing in the middle of that number, that English dude was looking at them through the looking glass, and he's like, "What in the fuck are they doing?"
Also, why do they suddenly look kind of modern?
Yeah, where's that music coming from? And another thing that I forgot to mention, do you like that scene where H Man invents the sniper rifle because
Oh
he
yeah, he
he
just like duct tapes a fucking telescope to the top of his rifle.
and it works. Like he doesn't have to sight it in or anything. He just picks it up
No,
and
no
goes.
zeroing, nothing. Just automatically works. That shows you how
Yeah,
good of a warrior he is.
genius. Anyway, what's
I
your rating?
I feel very conflicted because like part of me, I loved this movie. It is entertaining as all get out. It is action packed. It's fun. I would 100% watch this again. I don't know when I would watch it again, but I would definitely like if for some reason if it was like a movie night with a bunch of people and I was like, guys, like if we were arguing over what to watch, I'd be like, guys, I got it. This would be that film. But it's not like I don't it's not like 300 in the regards of like this is not going to be on my yearly watch list, you know?
Oh no.
Also, when I think of like a 5 out of 5 film, I think of Saving Private Ryan. I think of Das Boot, you know, those kinds of films, like true pinnacles of cinematic artwork, if you will. I think this film is beautiful. I think it's a good story. I think there's good acting. I think there are moments that do fall flat. And I think also the fact that I am not in tune with Indian culture, so there are aspects of this film that just don't make sense to me or don't do it for me. But I still think it's good, so I'll give it a 4 gate chickens out of 5.
All right. Well, let's see what the folks over at Rotten Tomatoes have to say about this. Rotten Tommy Toes. Kesari. There we go. Oh, fuck off. The tomometer is 33% and the popcorn meter is 81%. No, fuck you, critics. The audience is right on this one.
They're a bunch of fucking racists.
Yeah. Bunch of idiots. Man, there's
What if it was a bunch of Russian bots that did that? They're still salty about a war from 150 years ago.
Yep. Totally.
Oh. So,
Well,
that was
I think that about does it for
Kesari.
this.
I am excited
Indeed,
to
it
announce
was.
our next. I'm excited to announce our next film. We're doing a classic Vietnam film, very dark, very heavy. We are doing The Deer Hunter, and we're going to have the actor Rick Warden join us. For our listeners at home, he famously was in our Lost episode that you guys never got to hear. So we're excited to have him back and chat again, and we're excited for you guys to get to hear him for the first time discussing a movie with us. So,
And if the audio doesn't save for this episode, I might go postal.
yeah, I might not make it to 40 if this doesn't save. So,
I will break dry January and just go ham if this audio doesn't save.
I can't wait till we tell him all this. Be like,
Yeah.
hey, just so you know, my survival this year is dictated by whether or not this episode saves.
No pressure. So anyway, thanks for joining us
No
again,
pressure.
Rick. You know, Rick, I watched this movie, and this is the second time watching it, and I didn't see a dance scene with you in it. What the fuck?
I'm not sure if he was the appropriate acting age for that film at this point.
How old is he?
I think he's like
53. So no, he wouldn't have 50s.
I mean, he was in Band of Brothers, so
right. But yeah, he was 20s, so airborne age. What the hell was I going to type it? Oh yeah, Deer Hunter. 1978.
Is the Deer Hunter the movie with the Russian roulette scene?
Yes.
Oh, fuck yeah. We're going to talk all about that for a hot minute. Hey, Rick, did you know if this episode doesn't save, I'm going to play Russian roulette with a fully loaded cylinder?
I think that no. I'm pretty sure that concept is called Nigerian roulette, either a full thing or one empty. I gotta look that up now because I'm curious.
But anyways, that will be our next episode. I'm very excited to have him back. Do you have anything else, Jack?
I don't.
All right. Well, if you've enjoyed this episode, please leave a review. The stars do matter. If you want additional content from us, you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, while that's still a thing, all those good places. Until next time, I've been John.
And I'm Jack.
And we'll see you all later.
Bye.